Perhaps one of the most influential and controversial philosophical schools in the 20th century was logical positivism. Logical positivists avoided the concepts of traditional philosophy involving metaphysics, in other words, the non-experimental elements of philosophy. Their goal was to use logic, mathematics, and empirical sciences to develop a scientific language for describing reality. They claimed that science should be distinguished from what they felt to be pseudoscience, believing that knowledge is only true knowledge when understood in scientific terms. The school of logical positivism took inspiration from the ideas of Enlightenment philosopher David Hume and Ernest Mach, a 20th century physicist and philosopher. Logical positivists believed philosophy can only and should only care about that which is measurable, the data humans obtain from sense experience. For this school of thought, philosophy has no room for speculative thinking. Logical positivist thinkers wanted to set scientific methods as the model for all types of knowledge. They also strongly believed that physics should act as a model for all scientific disciplines and that all sciences should be broken down in terms of physics. Logical positivism's main points can be encapsulated as follows. 1. Sense experience is the only admissible guarantor of physical descriptions. 2. Knowledge of the world is secure only if it can be checked against observation and experiment. 3. Descriptive power derives from physical reports of our universe, not metaphysical descriptions. This school believed philosophy was to be a servant of the empirical sciences. At the heart of logical positivism was a novel way of dismissing non-scientific views by declaring them not merely wrong or false, but meaningless. In order to distinguish science from non-science, logical positivists suggested a criterion for meaning called the criteria of verification. According to this verification theory of meaning, statements only have meaning if and only if they can be empirically verified. Therefore, an important question for logical positivists was to distinguish genuine factual statements from what they judged were meaningless statements with no empirical content. According to the verification principle, a statement has meaning if and only if its truth can be empirically tested. Therefore, all other statements in art, literature, religion, etc. are ultimately meaningless in the view of logical positivism. But ironically, it was never clear what exactly was experimental about logical positivism's verification theory of meaning. The decline of logical positivism as a philosophical school was caused mainly by a fatal flaw in its central principle, the verification criteria of meaning. As it turned out, the verification principle itself is not empirically verifiable and therefore meaningless by its own criteria. Many thinkers soon caught to the fact that given logical positivism's rejection causality, theories and theoretical entities in science would have become limited to a narrow spectrum and reduced in scope had its philosophy taken a prominent place in philosophy. Observation, the backbone of this philosophy, also became a headache for logical positivists too. The thinker Norwood Russell Hanson argued that seeing itself is theory-laden. Therefore, not all observational statements can be absolutely true factual reports. Observation of X is shaped by our prior knowledge of X. Another thinker, Thomas Kuhn, also attacked the purity of observation as far as the study of knowledge is concerned. With the damage done to observation as an infallible means of acquiring knowledge, positivism lost any favor it had among intellectuals during the last century.